say has been probably leading up to this point, some of the things that kind of led to that success? And then also, I'd love to, touch into all the ways that you guys are tackling kind of these ESG mandates and everything else that is going on with these builds and in this company and industry.
Yeah, well, we had to, slowly build a great team. You're only as good as your team, and we feel like we have an amazing team. We had to hire a chief growth officer. One of our first hires was our chief design officer, Lance Lowry. He's been in the modular design industry for 25 plus years, was designing for many, many factories across the country. And, we wanted to get him on board and then kind of use my influence on the modern contemporary designs to get him to, he was a lot of the traditional Midwest stuff, but, we worked together to create an amazing line. It's based on technology. S2A is by far more of a technology company than a modular company. We only choose modular because we can control the environment. We don't have rain delays. We don't have theft. We don't have vandalism. And even bigger, we don't deal with the local jurisdictions for permits. Our homes are approved by the state. We have third-party inspectors in our factories 3 days a week. So we don't ever have to stop. We literally, the way the line is set up, a finished home will come off the line every 2 hours. So we can finish 4 homes in 1 8-hour shift with one line. And each factory is designed to have 2 separate lines. So, the great part about it is we can pivot. We can do everything from our SH1 model, which was designed as our solution for the homeless crisis, workforce housing, things very affordable. And then we can do custom high-end homes. We can do hospitals. We've got a Hilton branded hotel up north that we're going to be building later this year. So, we've got such a variety of things that we can use, but it's all based on technology. I mentioned that Tesla home being the lowest voltage, lowest amperage home in the world. All of our buildings are built that way. They're all built. We reverse engineered the homes. When I went to Tesla back in 2015, I met with 2 of their top engineers, told them what we wanted to do, engineer homes that were made to run on battery. Their battery was only designed to back up emergency items, medical equipment, your refrigerator, give you a few lights if there's a power outage. But we run every single circuit in the home is backed up with the battery. So we don't need grid support. So, by creating that technology, it kind of led right into the factories. So when we started building the factories, I wanted to build the lowest voltage, lowest amperage factories in the world. So now our factories are the only factories in the United States that are a complete DC microgrid. Our factory in Patterson, California, will produce approximately $178,000 a year in revenue from the excess power that we create that we can't use. Wow. We, like with our graphene solar panel, we got our UL rating approved last year. The graphene solar panel has 20 worldwide patents. We're the only people in the United States that can utilize this technology. And it really gives us an unfair advantage. It produces 38 to 42% more energy than any other panel in the world. So, I mean, you think about that. We can produce a smaller system and we can produce more power. So it's more cost effective. And it just, gives us that extra caveat there.
Yes, you said you're getting a home out in 2 hours. Once the home's actually out of the factory, how long does it take to actually construct it?
So normally, we don't start a home until they're already working on the site work at the site. So they're doing the grading, they're getting the utilities ready, they're getting the foundation ready. And by the way, we also do modular foundations. So we can install a foundation for a home in 1 day. So say we deliver a 2,500 square foot home, we can assemble it in 1 day. When we leave the first day, you can lock the home and walk away, and it's in one piece. Now, there's about 30 days worth of site work. We come in, you know, all the marriage lines where the drywall meets, we've got to come in, clean that up, do touch-up paint. Same thing on the outside. If there's siding or stucco, you know, we've got to complete any marriage lines. And then, you know, sidewalks and planter beds and grass and landscaping. But pretty much it's a 30-day window. So instead of watching a house be built for a year or 18 months and you see it getting rained on, the wood gets wet. What do you think happens when that wood gets wet? You cover it up and then it's 100 degrees in a month. You know, you got stuff growing inside those walls that you have no idea what's in there. Our material is delivered to the factory kiln dried lumber, and it never goes outside until it's completely waterproof. So, I mean, it's a healthier home. And also in the factory, we use digital equipment. So all of our lumber, the whole specs for the home are punched into the computer. Every piece of lumber for that home is cut by a digital saw. So no hands touch it. And it cuts within a 1/16 of an inch tolerance. 1/16 of an inch tolerance, my 30 years of development experience, you can't do it in the field. You know, you're moving and you're shifting things just to make things work in the field. You can be 6, 8 inches off, let alone a 1/16 of an inch. So, you know, it really, the efficiency, and then also the materials. We use all the materials. You go by a construction site and you see those big dumpsters full of lumber and materials. We recycle down to the smallest piece. There's always going to be something on the next piece, whether it be a granite countertop or a 2x6. I mean, there's always going to be a use for those pieces until we get down to a piece that's maybe an inch or two. So, you know, it really adds to the efficiency and the cost savings, you know, when it comes to building homes. I mean, we've all seen over the years, especially during the pandemic, prices of construction are through the roof. And most of these people who are building outdoors, they can't get enough subcontractors on the job to even get the job done in a timely manner. We're getting people from, I would say right now, 80% of our inquiries are from developers. They need help. They know that we can speed up their process of construction. Let them focus on the site work, the grading, the utilities, getting the foundations ready. Now they can do 5-10 times more projects because they're not worried about building the homes themselves. We deliver them. They just come in, do a little bit of finish for a month, and they're ready to occupy.
John, we got a question from Ty Hagler in the audience. He said, modular foundations, wow. Does the permit process ever become a challenge?
Not really. Like I said, I mean, for the homes, it's really easy because we've got a third-party inspector that's in our factory. It's the same company that stamps our plans. So we send our plans to this third-party company, and they're global. They're not just licensed in every state in the US, but they're licensed all over the world, all over Europe, all over many different countries. So we don't have any, when we take our plans into the city, they're not even allowed to make one red pin on our plan. It's out of their control. It's at the state level. So the only permits that have to be pulled for these projects are for the utilities, the grading, and the foundation. And with these modular foundations, they're poured in a factory to same thing, 1/16 of an inch tolerance, and they use a very low water content concrete mixed with a fiber mesh. It's extremely strong, and we can even do full basements out of this foundation to where literally all we have to do is have the hole dug. We use the same crane that we would use to install the home. We crane the pieces of the foundation into place. The very next day, it's ready for the home. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's actually mind blowing because I mean, I I don't know, John, you've done a lot more homes than I have, but in the US, I found it extremely tough, especially when you get into any type of add-ons or remodeling to find a home that's true, you know, so that you can actually you know, marry up a deck to it, simple stuff, right? And so you start to look at these efficiencies, and that's why McKinsey predicted it's the, you know, it's the next level of building, and it's here. You know, it's not like we're waiting for it for decades. It's actually you know, its time is due and the time is now. So that's another thing that got me excited too, because again, if you've ever picked up a hammer and gone in the heat and worked on any regular construction, you know, the inefficiencies. Think about those machines cutting instead of humans that are cold, that are trying to make those cuts, or people that are, you know, overheated and exhausted trying to make those cuts. You're at the mercy of whatever, you know, humans are on that home at the time.